Hello everyone. Can we continue the chapter Sweet Honey? The great scientist Albert Einstein once said, if honeybees were to disappear from the earth, human would be dead within 4 years. Can you say why? You know that bees are the pollinating insects. If there is no bees, then no more pollination. If there is no pollination, no more new plants will grow. Or from the plants, there will not be any fruits. We know that from the fruits only the seeds are available. From the seed, new plants are growing. So, if there is no bees, no more pollination, then no more new plants, then no more animals, and no more man. Because animals, including human being, are depending on plants for fresh air. That means oxygen. To get oxygen, we are depending on plants. Not only that, we are eating plant products as our food. So all the living organisms are depends on plants for their life. Plants need pollination. After pollination only plants can produce fruits. From the fruits only the seeds are available. So for this pollination bees are helping. If there is no bees then no pollination, then no plants, no animals and finally no more man. If the insects got disappeared from the earth, what will be the result? Can you predict? In the same page, did you see the question like this? Can you predict the answer here? If no more bees or if no more insects in this world, no more pollination, no more plants, no more oxygen, no more animals, and finally no more man. You can see that all the living beings cannot live without the help of others. This is called interdependence. Here, plants need the help of pollinating insects or air or water for the pollination. Okay, after pollination, only plants can produce the fruit. We are depending on plants. Not only plants, we are depending on other animals for our food. Okay, here in this world, every organism are depending each other. So that is called interdependence. Pollinating insects. In the first column, there are some insects. Can you identify these insects? The first one is the ants. You know that ants are also acting as a pollinating insect. That means it is helping for pollination, transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, from the male part to the female part. Okay. Ants are helping for pollination in many flowers. Here they have shown two flowers. The first flower is the orchid flower. Second one is the lily flower. Here you can see the presence of ants. The second insect is wasp. The picture given is fig. In fig flowers, the wasp insects are helping for pollination. After pollination, we will get the fruit. The third picture shows fruit flies. You may have seen small tiny fruit flies are flying near the fruit. Okay, these fruit flies are helping for pollination in apple, strawberry, blueberry, like these flowers. Okay, after pollination, we are getting these many fruits. Do you know that mosquito also act as a pollinating insect? So here mosquito in orchids and in golden rod flower. In these many flower, mosquito can be acting as a pollinating agent. The last one is the moth. Okay, moth is a pollinating insect for the flowers, jasmine, roses, orchids, etc. So these are the insects which are helping for pollination. So plants also need the helping agents, that means pollinating agents for pollination. Then only it can produce the fruits. After producing the fruits, fruits will contain the seed which are capable to produce a new plant. Now we can discuss what will happen to the pollen grain after pollination. The pollen grain deposited on the stigma. Look at this part. This is the pistil of the flower. That means female part of the flower. Can you see pollen grain on the stigma? After pollination, this pollen grain will germinate. Okay, it will start growing. It grows to form a tube. Can you see their pollen tube? So pollen grain after pollination, it started to grow a tube called pollen tube. Now that pollen tube will grow towards the ovary. Can you see ovary below? Inside the ovary, the green color oval shaped cell, can you see? Inside that there is a cell. Okay. In detail you will study in higher classes. Now you understand. Ovary, inside there is a cell, green color thing you can see, green color oval shape that contain egg cell. Okay. So this pollen tube will grow towards the egg cell. Inside the ovary there is egg cell. Now pollen tube also contain two male germ cell. Okay, that male two small round structure that will move towards the that egg cell. Ovary contain egg cell there. Now what will happen? This male germ cell and the egg cell inside the ovary will fuse together. Okay, these two will fuse together to form a new product. Okay, this process is called fertilization. Children, did you understand what is fertilization? Fertilization is the process after pollination. So after pollination, what will happen to the pollen grain? Pollen grain will grow to form a tube called pollen tube. Inside the pollen tube, there is male germ cell. Okay, where the pollen tube is growing? Pollen tube is growing towards the egg cell. Okay, where is the egg cell? Egg cell is inside the ovary. Okay, now the male germ cell and inside that green color you can see, no, there it is egg cell is present. So these two will fuse together. Okay, the fusion of male and female cell is called fertilization. Now after fertilization, this new product will form, that is called seed. Okay, after fertilization, the seed will be forming inside the ovule. And ovary will become into fruit and ovule will become into seed. Here the pollination after pollen grains will present on the stigma. Now we can see what will happen to the pollen grain. See, pollen grain germinates. Pollen tube grown. It is growing through the style. Style is the part of female part pistil. Finally, it has reached to ovary. Inside the ovary, ovule you can see here. There are 6 ovules here. So, it enters one of the ovule. And inside the ovule, fertilization process will happen. The male cell and the female cell fuse together, form a new cell called zygote. This zygote will form a seed, and the ovary will become into fruit. We are growing honeybee in special wooden box. We collect honey from the honeycomb. These combs are formed in special frames. Growing honeybee is called apiculture. It is a very profitable job. What do you mean by apiculture? It is beekeeping. Beekeeping also known as apiculture. Apiculture is the rearing of the insects bee. The main reason for beekeeping or apiculture is to produce honey. You know that bee honey is a natural sweetener, easily digestible by children and adults. We studied about honey bees and honey collection. What are the uses of honey? We know that honey is used for many purposes. One of the purpose I have written here as a medicinal purpose. To heal burns, wounds and ulcers, we are using honey. And in food items, we are using honey to increase the taste. So you can write your answer there. Did you see different types of honey? Write about different types of honey available. You know that there are different varieties of flowers, so there will be different types of honey. So I have mentioned 3 types of honey here: eucalyptus honey, sunflower honey, forest honey. Many people in India earn their livelihood through beekeeping. Overuse of pesticides and insecticides causes the disappearance of bees. You know what is pesticides and insecticides? It is used to kill the pest. The farmers are applying this pesticide or insecticide on the plants. So that will disturb the bees. So when the bees are coming to the plants, to the flowers, this pest will be unknowingly taken by these insects. So this will be disappeared in the world. Not only that, cutting of trees and plants is a threat to the lives of wild bees. Here naturally bees are making their beehive on the trees. If the cutting of trees happens, they will not make their beehives. So that is also another problem for the bees. Climate changes make the problem more severe. Because of the climate change also, these honeybees cannot be in this world. You know that there are different types of climatical changes happening nowadays. So that these are the things affecting our honeybees. This chapter has finished here. So we can just recall what we have studied through these activities. Match the following. There are 4 match the following questions are given here. Honey and the worker bee. The number you have to give there 3. Third one is worker bees. Fourth one is nectar. And the bee side, medicine, female, flower and male part. Can you match it properly and send me the activity? The next activity is true or false. 4 questions again. The first question is beekeeping or apiculture is a profitable job. Are you thinking it is a profitable job? Are the people are earning money through this apiculture? You can write there true. If you are thinking that it is not profitable, that means not getting money through this apiculture, people are not earning money through this apiculture, means you have to write false. You write your answer here. The second question is drones feed baby bees. Drones is a type of bee. So if this statement is correct, you can write true. If it is wrong, you can write false. No crops can be produced if all insects disappear from the earth. Just think and write. They are telling that no crops can be produced if there is no insects in this world. Okay, if the insects are helping for pollination, then only the seeds are getting. Okay, here the statement is no crops can be produced if all insects disappear from the earth. You can think and write your answer here. Interdependence means living things do not depend on others. Okay, on others. You know that interdependence, living things are depending on each other. Okay, here they are telling interdependence means living things do not depend on others. You can write your answer here. Next is name the following question. Question number 1. The bee that lay eggs. First one is that one. The bee that lay eggs. Which bee is laying eggs? Okay. I have mentioned the answers in the bracket. You can see there ovary, apiculture, queen bee and pollination. So one of the answer is matching with the first one. The bee that lays eggs. You identify the answer from the bracket and write it here there. Rearing of honeybee or production of honeybee is called, what is the name for that process? You identify from the bracket and write the answer there. Deposition of pollen to the female part of the flower. The process, the pollen is transferring from male part to the female part is called. There is a name for the process that is given in the bracket. You identify and write. The last question, the part of the flower that turns into fruit. Which part of the flower turns into fruit? So these are the questions given here. Next, D question. Choose the correct answer from the bracket. There are 4 questions are given. You read the question and identify the correct answer from the bracket. The next is answer the following question. Question number 2. What is pollination? What is pollination? The answer is there in page number 178. The 6th point. Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma is called pollination. You need to write this answer in your notebook. Other activities you can write it in the textbook itself, but answer the following question answer you need to write it in the notebook. The first question, what is pollination? Answer is transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma is called pollination. After writing the answer, you draw a picture for pollination. Here the picture is insect pollination. So you can see here the insect is pollinating. When it comes to take the nectar from the flower, the pollen sticks to the body of the insect. When it goes to the another flower, the pollen falls from the insect onto stigma. So here pollination. So you need to write the question what is pollination, then answer from the green color box from page number 178. Then draw this picture. Then question number 2. In your textbook, question number 3. Okay. First question I will give the note. So question number 2 you have to write. Then question number 3 in your textbook. But when you write question number 2. Did you understand? Question number 2 you have to write in the notebook. The third question here. Name some insects that help in pollination. So when you write number 2, name some insect that help in pollination. So you can write the answers: bees, butterflies, moth, ant, beetles, mosquitoes. These are the insects which are helping for pollination that we have discussed. That is, answers are there in page number 176. Picture is given, so you identify the insects and write it there in your notebook. Okay, then question number 1, 4 and 5 I will give the note. These two questions you need to write it yourself. Thank you.